Alright, I wasn't gonna make this one, but I got a lot of responses assuming I liked Charlie Kirk, or that I was too sympathetic towards him, or that I didn't know enough about him to be calling him a bad person, that maybe he was even a good person. So let me lay out clearly why I don't think he was a good person. Why don't we start with an easy one? He was very racist. He called the 1964 Civil Rights Act a huge mistake that paved the way for a permanent DEI-type bureaucracy. Over time, he escalated his attacks on Martin Luther King Jr., first calling him a bad person, then an awful person. Further, on DEI, he stated that it undermines competence, using the example, if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He was also a loud voice promoting the Great Replacement Theory, a debunked conspiracy that global elites are plotting to replace white populations with immigrants and minorities to weaken and erase white culture and power. Charlie stated that it's not a theory, it's a reality. He also argued that immigration destabilizes Western civilization, claiming the US accepts too many legal immigrants who risk undermining national values if they don't assimilate. He tied mass migration to crime, cultural upheaval, and financial strain. More Great Replacement bullshit, relying on fear-mongering and reducing immigrants to a monolith, fueling division and xenophobia. Shocking, Charlie was also Islamophobic. He claimed it was not Islamophobic to notice that Muslims want to import values into the West that seek to destabilize our civilization, framing Muslim immigration as inherently threatening. He also suggested that Muslims are commanded to take over the government where they live, describing migration as part of an Islamic takeover of America. Using this same rhetoric, he attacked Muslim politician Zohran Mamdani during his New York City mayoral primary race, tying his candidacy to fears of Islamic influence. He literally tweeted, 24 years ago, a group of Muslims killed 2,753 people on 9/11. Now, a Muslim socialist is on pace to run New York City. These statements reduce an entire religion and diverse group of people to a hostile caricature, reinforcing fear and suspicion. Now there's Turning Point USA. Founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk, it quickly became the most prominent conservative youth group in the country. It ran projects like the Professor Watch List and the School Board Watch List, which publicly targeted educators accused of liberal bias. These lists were literally just a form of doxing, exposing professors to harassment and threats. Charlie was also a shit debater. He frequently sought out confrontations with inexperienced, non-media trained college students, filming these exchanges to portray himself as sharp and authoritative while caricaturing his opponents as dumb liberal kids. Turning Point USA would then edit these and put them on all their platforms. It was never about a genuine dialogue. All he cared about was generating viral moments that humiliated students, rallied his fan base, and reinforced the non-existent culture war. Rage bait is what gets clicks. During the pandemic especially, Charlie spread a lot of disinformation. He also called it the China virus, kind of problematic. He promoted the false claim that
hydroxychloroquine
was 100% effective in treating it, and denounced mask mandates despite scientific evidence of their effectiveness. He likened vaccine requirements to medical apartheid. Before the 2020 presidential election, Charlie was already warning of a stolen election, planting seeds of denialism. After the election, he relentlessly screamed into the void that the race was rigged. Through his political arm, Turning Point Action, he funded and endorsed election-denying candidates in swing states, and then expanded this strategy nationwide, helping entrench election denial as a core part of conservative politics. In addition to this, on January 6, 2021, Kirk tweeted that Turning Point Action would be sending more than 80 buses filled with Trump supporters to fight for the president. Oh, but only around like 7 of those buses actually came. Charlie also downplayed gun violence. He said some gun deaths were worth it in order to have the Second Amendment. Ironically, he was discussing gun violence moments before the shooting. An attendee asked him, "Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?" And Charlie replies, "Counting or not counting gang violence." Even in his last words, he was being racist. So yeah, I believe Charlie Kirk was a bad person. He spread racism, Islamophobia, conspiracy theories, disinformation, while exploiting students and inflaming division for money. But he did not deserve to die that way. It wasn't okay. This kind of political violence can't be okay. I stand by what I said in my last video. I do not grieve Charlie Kirk the grifter, but the life that was lost and the pain this causes his friends and family. Hi, editing, I didn't write this here. I feel like I want to expand on what I meant when I said Charlie Kirk's last words were racist. It's racially coded because gang violence is often used in politics as a dog whistle to link crime to Black and Latino communities without saying it outright. By splitting gang shootings from mass shootings, Charlie was basically implying that deaths in minority neighborhoods don't really count the same, downplaying those victims' lives.